Gets in, lads. We are back to talk about West Ham's crazy summer transfer window so
Come
far. They made
on.
8 signings, and we have to talk about it with our resident West Ham fan, Hammers fan, Andres, of course. 8 signings, like I said. Andres, if you wouldn't mind covering every single signing that West Ham have made so far.
All right, so we'll start with the honorable mentions just to get those guys out of the way. So we got our third string keeper, Footeringham, and then we got Andy Irving, who I'm not too sure where he came from, but he just kind of showed up, and I'm not complaining. And then we'll get into the nice signings that we all love. Summerville from Leeds, Niclas Fullkrug from Borussia Dortmund, free transfer Guido Rodriguez, but was from Real Betis, so Elijah knows everything about him. Luis Guilherme, Maxine Kilman. Oh no, did I pronounce that wrong? Oh no, we good. I'm so proud of myself.
You're good, bro.
And then at this moment in time, Aaron Wan-Bissaka's medical is being completed right now at the training ground, so that's pretty exciting. So that is all 8 signings, and let me tell you, in this recent friendly we had over the weekend, they cooked. They did cook, every single one of them. Even though some of them only played 20 minutes, they cooked in those 20 minutes.
Yeah, so some of these signings are. If you said that 2-3 years ago that West Ham were going to make these signings, I would not believe you. These are some big names, and I need to know what kind of project they're presenting to these players to get them to come here, because these players, a lot of them could have gone to bigger teams. Todibo was inches away from joining Juventus, and West Ham came in and swooped and took the deal. Guido Rodriguez was supposed to go to Barcelona last year. That fell through with a lack of Xavi, and now he's going to West Ham.
Oh, I forgot him too. Oh, he was on my list. That's why. That's on me.
Jesus. But yes, you mentioned Guido. What are you talking about?
No, I forgot the Frenchie.
Oh, Todibo, yes.
Yeah, you covered him. We're good.
But a lot of these signings are just signings that you would not think West Ham would be making anytime soon. And I don't know. Like I said, I want to know what the project they're presenting. I want to know what Lopetegui was saying to these players. But these are some great signings by West Ham.
It's Tim. It's Daddy Tim.
It could be a lot of reasons. I'm just kidding. I believe you. But yeah, West Ham are going into the season looking really good. I worry though. I do have some worries with it.
Don't say but. Don't say
no. Well, I mean, teams have done similar things before, obviously, right? I'm a Chelsea fan. Chelsea, we do this once a season where we reinvent the whole team with a new batch of players. It never works out. We switch the manager and then we reset again the next season. So I know what it's like. You can mention Everton in the past, and maybe Everton 2, 3, 4 years ago were doing this every summer as well, to the point where at the time, due to my limited lack of ball knowledge, I was thinking that Everton were going to be the next best thing, and I was really faithful that Everton were going to finish in the top 6 or so with the signings they made, and they didn't, and now they still suck, and they still have a lot of those players. I do think, though, that West Ham have brought in a really, really good batch of players that will allow that to not happen. Also, I just realized you're wearing the new kit. Mm-hmm. When did you get the new kit?
Like 2 last week? No, 2. Yeah, before the game. Probably 3 days before the game. Yeah, man.
I didn't realize. I
got bone on the back. It looks crisp as hell. Not gonna lie, it's pretty nice. Dope. Honestly, it is extremely tight around the neck because of this. It's like a stretchy thing here, but it goes.
I hate that material, but
yeah, it's not the greatest, but you know what? It's fine. But yeah, it's really.
It's nice real. It's not a fake one.
Yeah, it's real. 100% real from the shop.
Wow.
My bank account pays for that one, but that's okay. It's just the hype, the hype going into the season. I had to buy it, but yeah, I just had to. I'm all in, dude. I'm actually so hyped for this season, more hyped than I was in previous seasons. Not gonna lie, just because of the signings.
So much that's going into this
new manager. The way they played. Okay, so vlog hasn't been released yet, but what I saw in Florida was not the greatest thing in the world. I'm not going to lie to you. But what I saw over the weekend, now that's what I'm talking about. And that's just with our OG players like Lucas Paqueta and Jared Bowen. And, of course, Mohamed Kudus looked amazing like he always does. But, I mean, these new additions really add something to the squad, especially because, for the past, what would you say, Elijah, 3 to 4 seasons, we've lacked squad depth in terms of quality.
Yeah, I would say maybe 50, 60 years, maybe.
Okay, okay. You know what, bud? You didn't have to do me like that.
You asked. You
No, I
asked.
said 4 to 5, and then you said 50, 60 years. No,
Well,
no.
still, I mean, I have to answer the question honestly, but yeah, no, I would agree with you. Yes, over the past 4 or 5
And
years, a
then
big issue is squad depth. Yes.
and then look at us now. I mean, honestly, like this bench, like I don't know who starts. Like that's the
Mm,
tricky part is Lopetegui's got some tough decisions to make. But it's just not a bad thing though. I mean, in previous years we already
no.
knew who our striker was going to be. It was going to be Michael Antonio. But now
Yeah.
it's Fullkrug is up there now. But I don't know. I feel like Antonio has the edge over him though, low key.
Yeah. I mean, personally, I feel no. I think over the past 2 years, Fulkrug is without a doubt the better striker. He just has done way more on bigger stages against bigger teams. But I think you play them you interchange them pretty consistently at the beginning of the season, and then you see which one gets the ground running first,
Yeah,
and then you start them more because they both are very similar players, and they bring very similar things to the team. So I think maybe
I
you give
think
Michael Antonio the chance to start, and then you just move on to Fulkrug afterwards. But I think Michael Antonio has maybe this for me. This is probably his last season starting consistently,
yeah.
and
I
then
mean,
and then
I
yeah,
feel like because of a new striker, especially at this caliber type thing that plays so similar to his style, is I think what is going to push him in training to do better and to be better. Just because I feel like he had no competition in the past. Like he had Sebastian Haller, Lucas Kamaka, but you didn't have to worry about them because they just
yeah,
didn't really do a whole lot. So he was like, oh, I got it in the bag. I just got to show
yeah,
up to training and do what I do. But like this, I feel like it's going to push him to be better and do better.
yeah.
So I could see a big season from Michael Antonio. I'm not going to lie. I could see a
Okay.
couple of goals. But he always starts the season out hot. The
Mm.
past 2 seasons, he started out hot in terms of goal scoring, and then he's declined. But that's usually because of an injury or something like that. Um, but
Yeah,
yeah,
probably
that
personally, I think Fulkrug should be given the chance to start because, like I said, I think Fulkrug has without a doubt been one of the most underrated players of the past 2 years or so. He's been phenomenal. In the Euros run, he he worked really well off the bench, and to the point where like he should have started every game. But at the same time, I don't know if I would have taken away his opportunity to succeed off the bench because it was that good.
yeah
But Fulkrug has been just a phenomenal striker, and especially in their Champions League run too for Dortmund when they made it to the final. Even though they didn't win, he was still a really big portion of that, if not the biggest
yeah
player on that team at the time to get them to that point. Fulkrug is a big game player. Fulkrug needs to be playing here. I think.
statement signing right there. Statement
Oh,
signing.
without a doubt. And was he? I would say the first one that they made so far, and then everything afterwards was just
All
also
fell
a
into
statement. I mean,
place.
Guido is a big statement signing, in my
Yeah,
opinion. I think a lot of people aren't acknowledging that as much as they should be because he is a fantastic midfielder. He was one of, if not the best, Real Betis player when he was there. Like I said, he was being looked at by Barcelona when Xavi was there, and he was supposed to join. The talks were very close and ended up collapsing last second. He could play. He goes into many of the teams in the world,
yeah.
and
He looked good too over the friendly we had too. It's just
yeah,
so interesting. Our midfield three is very weird, just because
mm,
we got Edson Alvarez, James Ward-Prowse, who I still think deserves a spot in this team somewhere. I don't think. Oh, that's my dog in the background. If you guys see it like, moving. Yeah, and then you have James Ward-Prowse, you have Lucas Paqueta, Mo Kudos, who's apparently going to be playing like a 10 role allegedly, just so that possibly Summerville can play out wide. That's the
mm,
rumor. But like it's stacked. Oh, Thomas Suchek, can't forget him. Unfortunately,
yeah,
apparently the rumor is from ex West Ham employee, very reputable
mm.
source. Apparently, we are looking to possibly offload him,
I'm
which
not
makes
surprised.
sense. Just because, like we there's so much depth now that not everyone's gonna play. Excuse me. Even my dog agrees, or maybe he disagrees. I don't know. I don't speak dog. Anyways, but yeah, I feel bad for Thomas Suchek just because all these players, especially Guido, they play so well off the ball, like on the ball. And
Yeah,
Thomas Suchek's probably biggest weakness is playing on the ball, despite what he says.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
but he's got that aerial attack. But anyways, also Guido, massive signing. But I think which is my favorite signing is Somerville, just because of
Really? Okay.
player of the season in the championship last year. Looked miles above everybody in the championship. Excuse me, dog. Um, get out of there. I'm talking here, sir. No. Okay, I'm gonna pet him while he's here. Anyways,
Yeah.
what was I saying? Yeah, one player of the season in the championship, and I don't know. When he gets the ball, people just gravitate towards him in the championship.
Mm.
Like like take on like 2-3 guys, draw fouls in, no problem. I mean, him. Just think of him and Mo Kudus, the amount of players Mo drags towards him and attracts towards him when he's on the ball. I
Yeah.
mean, someone's going to have to be open, especially with Summerville on the ball. I don't know. I see it. He looked really good, too. Once again, it was one training set, one friendly, but I mean, that's all I have to judge so far before Saturday. So,
Yeah.
against Aston Villa.
I can't believe it's this weekend
I
already.
know. I can't
Oh,
wait.
it's so
And
nice.
I'm like, I try to wake up for this friendly game, but I just had to watch like the highlights and all that
Highlights.
jazz and all the
Yeah,
player
yeah.
highlights just because I could not wake up. Actually, no, that's not true. My phone was put in the other room, in a different room so I didn't wake up. But you know what? It's a 9:30 kickoff for us for West Ham, so I can wake up for that easily.
There you go.
But
I
yeah,
think go ahead. No, please.
no, I was gonna just say Somerville. I think is gonna be like a very important signing, especially off the bench. I just felt like we lacked those attacking options, coming from the wings, and this bench looks scary, man. I'm not gonna lie. If we're struggling in a game, and then you look towards our bench and you see certain players warming up, you're gonna be like, well, shit. You know what I mean? On
Yeah.
paper.
On paper. See, that's one thing. One thing I want to say is, again, as my experience as a Chelsea fan, I know very much about an overloaded squad, and obviously, Chelsea have the most overloaded squad. Probably much of all time. Whatever, great, a lot of depth. Whatever. We're playing FIFA career mode. We're playing Football Manager. West Ham, though, I do think need to start getting rid of players. I think you have about 2 weeks left, 2.5 weeks until the
Yep.
end of the transfer window. I think West Ham really, really need to get rid of some players. And the only reason I say that is because if you keep a lot of players, especially ones who have been there for years now and have lived under different regimes, especially the David Moyes era and whatnot, the longer you wait to get rid of them, the easier it's going to get them frustrated and for not playing or, for different reasons and whatnot. And that's just not good for squad happiness and morale, especially when you're bringing in a new batch of players this big. Not only are you bringing in 8 players, you're bringing in 8
Yeah.
pretty much starting quality players. That does a lot to a dressing room. And I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I could very well see a rift forming in the dressing room amongst players who've been there for a little bit and may feel disrespected. Um, Obviously, Lopetegui's first season here could rub a few feathers the wrong way. We don't know how he's going to start the season with his teams and whatnot, but you could see players like Michael Antonio get frustrated for not playing. You could see Thomas Suchek get frustrated for not playing. You could see even Kufal frustrated for not playing with the advent of Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Kurt Zuma. You know, a lot
All
of these
up.
players, Aguerd, I get it. He wants to leave. He's supposed to leave, but if he stays, he's going to want to
Shot
play.
knees, dog. Ruined the whole transfer deal. Shot knees.
Exactly. Exactly. And you players like this sticking around it's a good thing for the culture for a little bit, but then at some point it's just it becomes a lot to handle.
Yeah.
Chelsea at one point, I don't know if it was last season or the year before, but I forget who it was. Maybe it might have been Noni Madueke. I don't know. But somebody couldn't even fit in the dressing room. Like, they literally could not fit in the dressing room and had to get changed outside of the dressing room because there's too many people. Obviously, West Ham were not close to that, but without, I almost said deportations. That's not without departures. Without departures,
Take away their green cards. Their working visas. Just take them away.
just get them out of there.
Them.
I meant to say departures. Without many departures, it could end up becoming that way. Hopefully not. Personally,
I hope
though,
to God not. But I think
yeah.
Lopetegui, the energy he brings from what I've seen, like from training clips, he's pretty close with the players already. Like not Greg Berhalter close, but I feel like he has a good relationship with the players. He knows how to work with the players.
Yeah.
But I think I agree with you. I think we need to get rid of some players. I think Naif Aguerd needs to go. Personally, I think send him because he's been linked to Saudi Arabia before, to the Saudi league. So I think we got to let him go. Him and Kurt Zuma can go together because I know they're best buds. But Nahi Figueroa is poor. I'm not gonna lie. At times he was very good for us, but
You were riding his coattails for a
no.
long time.
I know. But in recent memory, he's been very poor. And this preseason, he's a confidence based player, but in this preseason, he's been very poor. Especially this past weekend. Both goals were his fault. He gave away the
Damn.
ball. So that's lovely jubbly. He just takes too much time on the ball. You know what I mean? He's too nonchalant with it. And Kurt Zuma, I will forever appreciate his first season with West Ham, what he did, and like every other performance that he put in. But I think he's just too old now, and he's too slow.
Yeah, it's just not his thing anymore.
Yeah, and that's why he was going to the Saudi League until something happened with his medical. He failed it. There was issues with it. Not too sure, but apparently he's back in London. So now we have a bajillion center backs. So that's fantastic.
Yeah.
We have Kurt Zuma, Aguerd, Mavropanos, Frenchie,
Todibo, Kilman.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Kilman so far, but I'm gonna let him.
Kilman for me is a great depth option, and I think should be used as such. Personally, I think your starting two needs to be Mavropanos and Todibo, without a doubt.
I prefer Mavropanos. He's got this. He's quick. He makes some mistakes, but I mean overall, when he's cooking, especially last season, he had his moments. Excuse me.
Yeah.
When he had his moments, he looked very good.
Yeah, I think Mavropanos is going to be the starter. Personally, I very well could see Max Kilman being a starter too, but I think Todibo is a player you have to focus on. Todibo is, to me, one of the biggest names that has joined this team this season, at least. And like I said, could have been a Juve. He has the quality to play at levels like that.
Took too long.
Yeah, it took too long. Like he very well could have made the move to a team like PSG, to a team like Manchester United, to be honest, or Arsenal, like that. And to be at West Ham, you have to utilize him. He can't be just a bench option without.
Oh no, 100% starting. I mean, he's so young too, so it's literally our squad was so old, but now it kind of like flipped into being a pretty young squad. Except like Guido, he's up there in age, Fullkrug. But like overall though, like compared to like our squad depth, it's younger, which is nice to be up there because like Chelsea was like one of the youngest squads. And same thing with Arsenal. I don't know if Arsenal is the youngest squad.
The past 2 years were the first or second youngest squad.
But
we tend to field the youngest squads in games. So, and I think there's a good mix of veterans and not. I mean, Guido and Fullkrug are only like 30, 31. Like, that's older, but that's experienced older.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Antonio is just like older. Like he's 34. So but for that to be pretty much one of the oldest players in the squad, very good sign for West Ham. And I feel like that's how you take advantage of a good period of success.
Yeah. No, this is without European football too. We were able to attract these players and get the job and get the deals done, which is crazy.
Absolutely. And this is like, West Ham fans rode Moyes' tails for a long time. Moyes was present for a long time, and I think getting rid of him was the great thing. And look at what happened is you bring in a fresh new batch of players after him with a credible manager. I think it looks really good. And I think this was the best way to continue this period of joy amongst West Ham fans.
All right.
Is to do what they did.
Serious question. I'm going to ask you first, get your honest opinion on this. With all these signings, right, on paper, it's going to take some time to gel, of course. It's going to take some time to get used to the system. So I'm not expecting amazing things straight off the bat. But what expectation or, like, position would you set? Excuse me, I'm trying to ask a question here. What expectations or, like, position do you think are you expecting West Ham to be? Like, what are you predicting this team to be able to do this season in the Premier League?
I mean, so you're going to get mad at me for this, but I want to tell you why. West Ham for me are a 6th or 7th place team here.
Oh, you know what? I'm gonna take that because it's European football still. I think.
I'm teetering on the 7th more. I'm more on the 7th side. But this is, I promise you, this is the first time I'm not going to take away credit from West Ham. Like West Ham, if this happened maybe 3 or 4 seasons ago, I would tell you top 5. But the rest of the Premier League has gotten so much better in that time span as well. West Ham finished 7th for me just based off other teams, to be honest. I think they have the potential to finish higher than that, but you talk about Aston Villa now. Aston Villa are top 4 contender now, consistently. You talk about Newcastle, who are still in the conversation there, and all of the big six still could finish in the big six. Like everyone has a potential. All 6 of those teams have potential to finish in the top 4. So West Ham finishing 7th or 8th, I really think is the most plausible, and that should still count as really good, just because you have such a much higher level of competition now in comparison to the past few years. So yeah, I'll say 7th or 8th, but no shade. That's without shade.
I
I do
appreciate the
think
no
also,
shade
yeah,
clarification.
that's
I
like that's
appreciate
no
that.
shade. One thing also you could factor in is lack of European football is tends to bode really really well in domestic leagues. A lot of these teams that I mentioned have European football next year, meaning they have way more games, including Aston Villa, including Chelsea, including Newcastle. So that's a lot for them to deal with, and a lot that West Ham doesn't have to deal with, and that they should take advantage of
Dude, my
moving forward.
Thursdays will be
So
free now. Let's go.
yeah, there you go.
No, I'm kind of
Um,
sad about that. I mean, 3 years
yeah,
of
it's
it.
it's fun. It's fun. European football's fun.
Sometimes you just need a break. You know what I mean? Sometimes
Yeah,
you have a lot of fun, and then you're like, you know what? To appreciate
yeah.
even more, you need a little break from it, and then come back to it. You know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
that's what's gonna happen this season. I think. I think it's gonna we're gonna take a season, chill from Europe. You know what I mean? Those European
Yeah,
nights, we're gonna chill out, and
yeah.
then we're gonna qualify. I generally think I see a top 6. I don't see us pushing top. I can see a push for top 4. I don't see it as like a that's like me like dreaming, like you know what I mean, like a
Okay,
top 4 finish.
okay.
But I've seen certain analysts on Sky Sports saying Europe is a minimum with this squad,
I
but
mean, you could
that's
say that.
on. I think it's because on paper this team should be pushing for a European
Yeah,
spot.
yeah.
But once again, these signings have come a week and a half before the season started,
Yes,
so it's going to
yes.
take some time. Especially defensively, we look kind of shaky. So we really don't know what we're going to look like defensively. Attacking wise, I think we have a pretty good idea what we're going to look like, but defensively has been our weak spot since Moyes, but it looks like it's continuing into this new era over Lopetegui. But
Yeah,
well, we'll see on that. But I can see us pushing. I think either Europa League or Conference League. Just because I think it's going to take a little bit of time to
yeah.
get the ball rolling.
Okay.
I guess especially against Aston Villa, it's going to be a tough game. It's just it's just Aston Villa.
Is that
So
West Ham's first game? Yeah, that's
doable
gonna be a
though.
good game to watch, though.
It's good. Yeah, it's going to set the tone. I think. See
Yeah,
where we're both at. But I can see us get the ball slowly rolling. But once it starts cooking, because I definitely see us cooking like under the new system. I think
yeah.
then we'll start getting the points that we need. So that's what I'm going to say. We're going to be like a little bit of a late bloomer in this season. I think I can see us. Excuse me, dog. This is why I
Yeah.
never film in here. But I was like, oh, I'll keep him company, because he hasn't. I haven't seen him yet, and then he does this to me. Unbelievable. Anyways, completely threw off the train of thought here. That's fantastic. Don't remember what I was saying. I think I was saying something
One
about
one thing I want to say. One thing I want to say about West Ham this season.
or massive. I
I
know.
no. I was gonna say because of no European football and a really competitive field now in the Premier League. This is the year to take advantage of the FA and Carabao Cup.
Agreed.
If there was ever a year to do it, it's this year. You take advantage of that because the teams in European football, the Carabao Cup to them is going to be the least of their worries. Obviously, they want to win it. Who doesn't want to win the Carabao Cup? But it's going to be at least of their worries. They're going to field worse teams. I think it's West Ham's opportunity to take advantage of that. Same with the FA Cup. FA Cup, obviously, again, no team doesn't want to try to win that, but it's going to be harder for them to do so. West Ham have the opportunity to take advantage of such a state of the field of play right now that I think they could really take advantage of that. And I do think West Ham need to be making at least the quarterfinals of
I agree.
both.
Yeah,
That's the final 8. I think West Ham need to be in that conversation to really show that they're a big team, and if they can make it at least into the semifinals, boom, they've arrived, kind of deal. It's
I
the year for that.
no, I
If you're
agree.
not doing that, then I not saying it's a big issue because there are many things that could factor into you not making it to that point. One game could screw you over
Yeah,
for whatever reason. So yeah, I would say.
Especially if we face non-league sides or lower division sides. Those seem to be our kryptonite for some reason. Don't know why, but we struggle or we tend to lose, which is very frustrating.
Small club mentalities, it's just how it is.
Oh,
it's just how it is.
And some would say the magic of the cup, but because of our history, you're gonna say that. You're gonna take the negative approach. I was taking the more positive approach. You know what I mean? Like I'm glad my club is that club that is affected by the magic. You know what I mean? That's what I was trying to say.
Okay.
I'm glad that we can give those smaller clubs those happy memories that the fans will never forget, the players will never forget. Because
you're so generous.
Because that's the only thing they're gonna achieve. We beat West Ham. That's their whole history right there. It's boom. We beat West Ham that 1 year. Remember that? And they'll be like, yeah, that was legendary. And then that's it.
You're so generous.
I try. Even my dog is generous. I mean, come on. Can you not hear him right now? My goodness.
You're so generous.
I try to be.
Yeah. But unless you have anything else to add, Andres, I think we can call that there.
West Ham are massive. I'm not going to say anything else because usually when I start showboating, it goes horribly wrong. So I'm going to just say West Ham are massive everywhere we go. And that's it.
All right. Well, if you are at this point of the video and you are a West Ham supporter or a Premier League fan, make sure to subscribe to the channel because we have a lot more individually based team content. I'm a Chelsea fan, meaning more Chelsea videos. Andres is a West Ham fan, meaning more on West Ham videos. Diego's a Tottenham fan. And we're going to have a lot more content for the Premier League moving forward. So if that interests you, make sure to subscribe now. Leave a like on the video if you really enjoyed the summer transfer window for West Ham. And hopefully we'll see you guys in future videos. And enjoy the Premier League this weekend. Take it easy, guys.